Okay, that makes a lot of sense. You mentioned punishment and consequences and things like that. Can you describe a little bit about, what you guys believe in terms of heaven and hell and reward and punishment and these kinds of things?
Look, it's a serious question, and it's a question that is built on a foundation of faith. And one of the first things that the Quran came to set for the people who lived at the time of the Prophet when he received the Quran sallallahu alaihi wasallam was to get them to change their worldview. Initially, they were thinking, "Man yuhyi hadhihi al-'idham wa hiya ramim?" Who will bring life back to these crumbling bones once they've been buried? And the Quran came and said, no, it's not about the material, that there's a soul. And there's something within you that is real and is from the divine. And that's what makes you who you are. And therefore, you must adjust your life to that which is a good way of living. And we do, therefore, believe that there is a day of recompense. For us, there's a day of resurrection. It's a day when we will all be brought back to life. And always in the Quran, there's this similitude that God brings down the rain, and you see فَطَرَ الْأَرْضَ خَاشِعَةً, you see this plain, barren earth. أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْهَا الْمَاءَ اهْتَزَّتْ وَرَبَتْ. When the rain descends upon it with its blessing, the earth quivers and shakes back to life, and it vegetates, and everything comes back into being. And therefore, you and I, our existence today, it's temporal, 70, 80, 90, 100 years. There has to be more. And therefore, all of human history has always been built on this belief that there is more of an afterlife. So for us, the afterlife is defined by what God has described, both in the previous scriptures and consolidated and authenticated and verified in our Quran. Three things that we do know. One is, it doesn't matter when the day of judgment is, and it doesn't matter whether I live long enough to see the last days or anything like that. What's important is what I prepare for it, how well I live. And therefore, as Muslims, we're not fatalists in that sense that we're like looking over our shoulder, oh my God, I'm going to die tomorrow. Rather, we live a good life, and we're taught that if the day of judgment is today and you are planting a seed, don't stop, plant it, right? Keep going with your life. So that's the first message, that you got to live a good life and live it to your fullest and do the best that you can with it. Number two is live a clean life, and live a life that doesn't impinge and impact upon others. And sadly today, Muslims have been given a name which I don't feel is deserved of the vast majority of Muslims, as being people who seek ill will of others. In fact, Muslims have always been those who valued life and valued that good existence. And the greatest way of sharing the world is in equity and peace with others. And therefore, that becomes a very central thing. That part of your preparation for the next life is that you haven't done injustice to others. And there's this famous statement by one of the great scholars of Islam, his name is Sufyan al-Thawri. He said, I would rather meet my Lord with hundreds of sins between me and him than to meet my Lord with just one sin that I hurt another person with. So that gives you that framework. The third thing is that there is God's mercy, but there's also God's wrath. And for the one who assumes that God is just about love, and there's not, oh, he'll forgive me, it doesn't matter what I do, that isn't a Quranic reality. The Quranic reality is that God's mercy is tempered with his justice, and God's justice is tempered with his mercy. And we all pray for God's mercy. He is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. But he says to us in the Quran, and I leave you with this to kind of think about it, Nabbi ibadi anni ana al-Ghafur Rahim. Inform my servants that I'm the most forgiving and the most merciful. Wa anna adabi huwa al-adabul alim. But let them equally know that my punishment is real and severe for those who are worthy of it.